Let's talk about the second client that you wrote down. Wait, say that. Let's talk about the second client that you wrote down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Jack has really nice clients all the time. Okay, so, Carrie, let me ask you a question. When I say the name, gosh, there's lots of names. What's the first thing that comes to mind? What? Why? Why? Okay. What's the feeling that comes to mind? Ugh. Emily.
They're related.
Are we bonding? Are we bonding? I love it. Emily, when I say the name, what's the first word that comes to mind?
Oh.
And then what's the feeling that comes to mind?
Exhaustion.
Okay. So let's talk about the relationship and the rapport with clients that, and you guys hit it, I didn't even have to do the attitude. We gotta talk about the So this is gonna be, we're gonna start with us. Okay, in this relationship. Let's talk about the attitude. The attitude. It's so natural, especially when you have a history with a client, when they're difficult, when they're kind of short with you, when they're nasty, when they wanted it yesterday, Cindy, and you didn't do it, even though they told you today, but you should have done it yesterday, attitude. And they just, they come into the office, and I have them too. I'll be like, why? Well, wait, where's Donna at? Wait, Donna's on break. Oh. All right, we go downstairs and talk to him. But the attitude is, I want to talk about how we have to start with that before we can start with the client being nasty, the client being whatever the client is. We're not going to probably change it. But we can start to change the relationship with the client. The difference between the first client that we talked about and building rapport with them and these types of clients, this classification of clients, is you're going to have to do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again with those clients. Because the other clients will start off on the right foot. It's going to be a little bit more easier as time goes on. You're going to have that information. You're going to have that relationship. You're not going to have to, it's not going to feel so, let me think about who, what, why, where. It's going to come a little bit more naturally. The clients, yeah, because you know what? They might feel the same way about us. So we're going to have to try with them over and over and over and over and over again. And I know the thought of that, just the thought of having to do that is probably like, oh, God, Staci, why? Because you know what? Again, we're in a relationship business. People leave us for relationships. They come back to us for relationships. So it's important for us to start with our attitude. And the way that we do that is we have to deal with ourselves first. So there's going to be 3 things that I want you to do when you make the decision, and really this should be the first thing. You have to make the decision that you want to have a better relationship and rapport with the client. That starts with you. No one else can do it for you. And let me tell you something, ladies. My advice, my experience, is that it's all about perspective. If you perceive for it to keep going the way it's going, then it is. But if you change your perspective on it, and it starts with you, and you make the conscious decision that you want to have this to be, you want this relationship to be better, then it will, because you're going to lead with that. You're not going to lead with all the baggage that you've had with the client. So, before we start, when we make that decision, first thing we want to do when we start to move forward is, what are my strengths? What are my strengths in my position? Also could be, and I think this is number 2, but what do I like about my position? So this is more a little about self-reflection, and some of this can maybe cross over into our personal lives when we're dealing with family member that we're working on the rapport with them.
I'm fantastic.
You are so,
I can't
you're
understand.
butter, baby. You're butter. But it's going to be about reflection. So what are my strengths in this situation right now working with this client? What are the things that I do know about them that could be connectors for us? Maybe they're a little far-fetched, but we're going to go for them. What are the connectors for me to this client as I leave the baggage behind? And then what are my strengths? What do I like about my position? For some of us, it could be, you know what, I know that I'm a really good problem solver. I get it. I know that whatever they're asking for, I can get it done. I can get it done really well. And I'm going to be able to show to them my expertise and my professionalism by doing this. And those are tidbits. Those are things that doing that, again, over and over and over again, even with a client, is going to start to build rapport. And when I say you have to do it over and over and over again, it's because sometimes clients don't realize you're leaving the baggage behind, that you're starting new. And for me, there's been specific times that I've said to a client, I know it didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to. And I wish that it had been different. If I could change it, I would. But what I would like to do is I want to just turn a new leaf, move forward, everything straightened out, whatever the situation is. And because that's a connector, someone being genuine and authentic with you. People recognize that. Even when nothing went right and it was a really bad situation, people will recognize that. The third thing is, I put down here the deeper meaning. And it could be the deeper meaning, but the more that I thought about it, Jack used a term a couple weeks ago in a meeting. So the 30,000 or 32,000?
30,000.
30,000 foot view. That's probably really what that should be. Not necessarily the deeper meaning. Because for me, the deeper meaning is what's my purpose, what's my why. And in a difficult situation with clients, for me, I don't know if that's necessarily motivating. What's my why right now? What's my purpose in life? And be able to, make that relative to this client. But the 30,000 view is, what's the big picture? This is going to be a client that I know I'm going to have to do something over and over and over again. And that's the 10,000 view. The 30,000 view is in the long run, the big picture. How is this going to make my life easier? How is this going to make my client happier? This is probably going to make my agent happier. And this is going to make the client more receptive to the information that I want to give to them, that I want to show to them. So building rapport in a relationship with a client is probably going to take on the form of us actually caring about them. And I'm not saying that anybody in this room doesn't. I know that sometimes it can be hard to care about someone when we don't have the best relationship with them. Maybe that client that we first wrote down, probably genuinely care about them. We care about what's going on with them in their lives. The other one, second name, might be a little bit more difficult to have that same feeling authentically because we just don't have that relationship. So, all of that is great and wonderful, but now I want to bring it back to the business, because that's what we're here for. The very first thing is, because I don't want you to go back and be like, Staci told me to be BFFs with all our clients and walk on sunshine and run with the unicorns with them and just have this, all this great information about them. We're in a business. So what I want you to keep in mind is that as we're building that rapport and we're asking those open-ended questions and we're gathering that information, you have to, first and foremost, you're gathering that information because you do care about them, but you're also gathering it because you're their professional. You are in a very specific position. Now, I'm not gathering this information because I just want to know all these wonderful, great things about you, or but because I'm your professional. And knowing these things allows me to better advise you. So, even though we're going to do all those great, caring, and wonderful things, but we're going to be their professional as well. And being their professional, is what we're going to want to lead with. And I've actually said this to people, is that, I just want to look out for you. So you guys are in, sometimes I think you guys are in such a great position. Because see, when a client sees me coming, they see somebody coming to sell them something. I'm going to sell them something. You guys are so less threatening than me. Yet you have all the same knowledge, if not more. You might have even a better relationship or rapport with the client. Creamy Acres loves Carrie so much more than they love me. It's the truth. Say it. You know it. They've connected on all that Halloween horror stuff, but I just can't. I'm just not that person. But they've connected. So, as their professional, it's going to look like, that we're looking out for them.